Hi, and welcome to Evan Writes Cars Video Reviews. I'm Evan. Today I'm driving the 2017 Toyota Corolla SE with the XSE package. Corolla has been one of Toyota's best-selling models for a very long time now. It's actually the best-selling nameplate in the world. What it's not, generally, is interesting. Traditionally, the Corolla is a fairly boring, fairly bland appliance of a car. It's designed to get you there. It's designed to do that well. There were, of course, some notable exceptions in the late 80s, like the Toyota SE XSE, or arguably the front-wheel drive Corolla GTSs that came after. And, that's been a theme for most of Toyota's lineup. They're good cars, not all that exciting. Recently, Toyota's tried to change that. And one of the ways they've tried to change that is with the updated for 2017 Corolla. What they've done is added a much more aggressive front end. There's a protruding grille, there's the protruding nose, there's sharp aggressive lines, there are those really big, look like fog lights, but actually they're LED daytime running lights, along with LED headlights standard on every model in the range. So visually, the car certainly looks more sporting, at least on the outside, especially my SE model. On the inside, in order to try and help up the sportiness, my SE model gets a different speedometer with a slightly more aggressive looking gauge panel. It gets a sport mode on the continuously variable transmission, and it gets paddle shifters for the continuously variable transmission. What that does is give it a number of, it has basically 7 fake gear ratios that you can pick from. So if you're not a big fan of the up and down rubber bandiness of CVTs, and this is pretty good at not doing that, you can also lock it into gear so you get a fixed RPM range. It accelerates, the revs go up. You decelerate, the revs go down like you'd expect in a conventional automatic. For 2017, all the Corolla trims get one engine. It's a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder, makes 132 horsepower, which is a little bit low for the segment, but the car doesn't feel heavy, and it gets up and goes. It moves fairly reasonably briskly. The horsepower is adequate for the car. It's not going to win any stoplight drag races, but that's not why people get Corollas. Hooked to that is a choice of 6-speed manuals, depending on the trim. The SE and the base CE can both get a 6-speed manual. All automatic cars get a continuously variable transmission. I believe this is the first year that they've completely discontinued the old 4-speed automatic. So does the Corolla handle as sporty as it looks? Well, I'm not going to say it's a corner carver. It's not going to encourage you to take it on a racetrack. You're not going to want to autocross it probably. But it's more than capable. Surprisingly so. In fact, what I found in the Corolla, and I found this in some other Toyotas as well, is they're surprisingly fun. It's not going to generate the highest cornering speeds. Yes, there's some body roll, but it's stable, it's fairly well composed, and it's surprisingly enjoyable. The steering's quite direct, it's responsive, it's quick, but not twitchy, not overly quick. And the car's just, it's a surprise, but the car is legitimately fun. It's not going to throw your head back, it's not going to pull you out of your seat sideways, but it's enjoyable. And quite frankly, in a compact sedan, that's about the best you can ask for, and it's doing pretty well. I mean, this is as fun to drive as the current Civic. More so than the Elantra, less so than the Mazda 3, obviously. The Corolla has a really nice airy greenhouse. There's lots of space in here. I've got good headroom, amazing visibility out of in every direction. It's really easy to put it where you want it. It's really easy to park. There is a standard backup camera on all but the base CE models, but you don't really need it because you can see everything around you. The sills are nice and low. You're not cowering under the top of the door, and it's that makes it, that airiness makes it more enjoyable as well. This XSE package car has sunroof as well. It's winter. It's 2 degrees out, so I'm not opening it. Fortunately, I've got heated seats, so I don't need to wear my jacket while I'm filming. Now, I said the handling is surprisingly fun. The ride is good, but what I've found is that on sharp impacts, The back end feels like it has a little bit too much damping, and the back end kind of kicks off of some of those. More so than the shock, it actually makes a fair bit of noise when it does it. You can really feel, well, you can't really feel it, but you can really hear the impact coming up through the rear suspension and up through the chassis. And it's kind of a surprise, because generally this car's fairly quiet. Even the continuously variable transmission doesn't really make a ton of noise. As far as the rest of the suspension goes, it is surprisingly firm. You know, it's not a soft, cushy ride. It is a surprisingly firmly sprung, firmly suspended car, especially for something in this segment. That's not a bad thing. It's still enjoyable. It still rides well. Getting back to equipment, Toyota has really upped their game in the active safety department lately. And what they've done in doing that is made a Corolla that's not just a good value, which they have been for a long time due to cost of ownership, reliability, metrics like that, but now they've actually made it a really good deal. The base CE model at $16,390 with the 6-speed manual transmission gets the full safety suite. It gets pre-collision detection, it gets brake assist, so it will slam on the brakes if it doesn't think you're stopping in time to hit something. It's got automatic high beams, it's got radar cruise control. It's the cheapest car to have radar cruise control by about $5,000, or about $2,000 if you get the CVT-equipped CE model. Now, that's a bit of a jump for this CVT, but it also comes with air conditioning and a few other things. And putting that gear, even in the very basest car, is kind of a big step. And it's a big step to getting it really across everything, which, you know, as much as I'm a person who drives, who loves to drive, who thinks that you should be driving all the time, I understand that most people don't want to drive. That's why we're moving to autonomous cars. A lot of people don't want to drive a lot of the time. And things that can help them drive better, like those assists, it's a good thing. And you can turn them all off if you don't want them. It also has Toyota's lane keeping system, so it will keep you between the lines. It won't let you, if you try and leave the lane, it'll actually steer back into the center. It'll give you a warning. It'll shake the wheel, give you a little alert to let you know that's happening. What it doesn't have, surprisingly, are blind spot alerts. Now, I would argue that they're not really necessary in a vehicle like this because you can see so well around you, and the mirrors are big enough that you can adjust them properly so that you don't have to worry about cars hiding in your blind spot. It's just kind of a surprise not to see it with everything else. The back seat is a little bit tight. I have lots of knee room. I wouldn't be able to sit back there because there's not enough headroom. I have to tilt my head completely over to the side. In the Civic or in the Elantra or in the Mazda 3, I do have room back there. So if you have backseat passengers that are tall, you're going to want to test fit them before you go ahead and get something like, and get the Corolla, look at the Corolla. The trunk also seems a little bit small compared to the rest of the class. The opening's really great, but the actual space inside just doesn't seem that big. There are fold-down seats. There is a ski pass-through, but there doesn't seem like a ton of room back there. Fuel economy in the Corolla is rated for about 8.5 city, 7.5 highway. If you get the LE Eco model, it has a number of changes, including lower rolling resistance tires. It actually has a special valve train as well that lowers that by another liter per 100 kilometers. I'm averaging about 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers, which is certainly acceptable. So that's the 2017 Toyota Corolla. It's got a more aggressive look for this year. It's got a lot more active safety features. It's very well equipped. It rides well if a little bit firmly, and it drives a lot more fun than you'd expect it to. which is something I've never said about a Corolla before. In fact, normally I'd make a joke about falling asleep while I was driving it, and that isn't likely to be the case in this one. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching another Evan Writes Cars video review. If you like my video, please hit like or subscribe on the links on the side, and you can watch my other videos in the playlist there as well. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye.